Entertainment Banter would like to remind you to stop and proceed with caution. Some language may not be suitable for some children. Or most.
Welcome back to a second parter of Entertainment Banter. Oh, my name is Joel.
And I'm Matt.
I feel like we just did this.
Isn't that weird how that works out?
So this is part 2, continuation of talking about after seeing Avengers Endgame, the most popular movie in the world.
Of all time.
Only because, not because of the movie itself. The movie itself is a great movie, but it's because of how many movies led up to this movie.
Exactly.
That they didn't have to develop anything more. If you go see this movie alone, it's going to be a difficult movie to watch because there's so much character development the last 10 years. 21 plus movies.
It's pretty much a guaranteed thing that it was going to be successful.
It was going to be great. There's no way.
You know what I mean?
Fail.
Like, everybody was curious about it. There's no way that nobody was going to go see it. You know what I mean?
Now to rewatch it, that's the ticket. I do kind of want to see it again because there's so many things I missed.
Yes, I agree.
So with that being said, I want to ask Matt some very controversial question. There is a moment in the fighting in the end.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking
Captain
about.
Marvel stands their ground with the glove in her hand, and Spider-Man, Peter Parker, goes, "How are you going to make it across?" And then every girl in the Marvel universe, the Wasp, Black Panther's guard, the Valkyrie girl, Pepper Potts, Rescue, whatever her name is.
Yes.
All of them land in front of her and go, even Gamora, right? Gamora was there, Nebula?
Yep.
And they go, "We'll make sure she gets through." And it was just that moment of like, girl power, Powerpuff Girls, go! And I thought it was a really cool moment because I was like, oh, that's really cool. You know, like they did a throw out to the ladies. They're cool. But all I could think of was Matt's laughing in his shoes, in his pants right now. He is laughing his ass off.
Yeah, well, okay, so how I'm going to address that is like a couple different ways. One is we have to go back in time using the Infinity Stones and remember, believe it or not, guys, there's a plan. When people decide to make movies, it's not like, we're going to make this movie right now. It's not like a kid that grabs a camera and goes films in his backyard. This takes time. This takes planning. This takes people sitting down, writing out story treatments and everything else, and they come up with that. So, during the time that they were coming up with these story treatments, it just so happened to be the time about 5 or 6 years back when the comics also started to reflect these story arcs, which is this. The women's lib power movement. That's when they started killing off all the Marvel characters. That's when we got a girl Wolverine. That's when we got a girl Thor. That's when all the stuff started coming to play in the comics. This happened at the same time. I guarantee you the treatments of this Avengers story were being written. Now,
fair.
What happened during that time was the comics came out and they didn't sell because boys did not want to buy those comics. They did for a little while, but they didn't sell as hard as the original characters.
No, they wouldn't.
And so what happened was during this period of when the movie's treatment was being created and when the movie finally came out, there was a failure. At some point between that time and the movie, the world spoke. I'm not saying everybody, but the majority of the comic book industry, when it comes to people buying the books, did not appreciate those choices, and sales took a dive.
Right.
So they started changing those story arcs and started bringing the male characters back. So now you're at this point in the comic world where those characters still exist, but the comics are changing because they're not making the money that they should have been making. But it's too late to go and change a movie because there's too much time, money, and stuff invested in it. So they're gonna stick to their guns and show it. And when it comes to the women's movement, I mean, obviously it's a hot topic. It's a prime topic now. So it just works for that. But having said that, it is, in my opinion, kind of like one of those things where it's like really obvious and really out of the way. And like, if you wanted to say equality is a word that is for everybody, then I think that scene would have been a lot cooler is if there was the other scene where you saw, I mean, this, other than the three, because we talked about it in the last podcast.
Well, yeah, you see Captain America, Thor.
You see Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man attack Thanos.
Scene right there, standing in front of Thanos was very
right,
cool.
But that's very symbolic of the original stories. Like, those were the three characters that we've been following. It's essential that they got their due. That's why even Hulk wasn't even in that scene, because we've been following those three characters from day one.
Right.
So that scene was a special homage to those three characters across all of these movies and platforms. But we could have had Black Panther, Ant-Man, Winter Soldier, Sam, War Machine. We could have had a slow-mo moment with those guys too.
Chris Pratt, Star-Lord.
Chris Pratt, yeah. We didn't get
Drax,
it.
Groot.
You know what I mean? We didn't. So it's almost like that's the problem. Is they're going out of their way. Yeah, and again, it was a really cool scene to see all the women. But again, if you're trying to make a point, it's weird. Like, to me, it's almost like saying, I want to be cool.
You're getting preachy.
I know, I'm sorry, but you started this. I have to finish it. So if I want to be cool, if I went into school and said, hey guys, I'm cool, and I'm wearing sunglasses, am I really cool? I don't think so. You know what I mean? But if I show up and I do something cool for somebody, if I help them, pick up their books, or I go to class or whatever and help somebody do something, or stop a bully from punching you, that makes you cool, right? But I feel like those types of scenes go so far out of their way to illustrate woman power. The only reason why that was in there was to get a whole bunch of girls to scream in the theater and clap. That's honestly the only reason why that was in there. Right, but my point is, no one did in mine either. But it's like, but my point is, it was put there to try to cater to a certain group of individuals that may not have even been in the theater to watch the movie, if you really think about it.
It was a neat little moment.
It was a neat moment, right. But I think, as always, it's been tainted in controversy, so it makes it harder to swallow. That's the only thing. But the last podcast, I'm going to move away from that. I didn't find that scene terrible. What I appreciated was, what I like about movies like this is seeing all of the, I don't know how you would describe them, B or C listed heroes fighting and giving them their due.
I was kind of hoping
to
see Daredevil and Ghost Rider and Punisher and even the Defenders there. I thought that would be really neat to see them there because they're part of that. Everyone was a part of that.
Well, they've already said that they're a done deal. That's not going to happen. It's already done.
What do you mean?
But what we were talking about last podcast was Captain Marvel, and
we're not going to. Are we going to go into more Captain Marvel?
Yes, we were.
Okay.
Forget Brie Larson for a second. I don't care about the controversy with Brie Larson. I want to talk Captain Marvel. Every time that character was in this movie, I cringed because it's not, nothing to do with Brie Larson. It's more about, she's so powerful, you could solve this problem in 5 minutes.
But she wasn't. Thanos showed that he was stronger.
Well, let's finish it. Well, because you were talking about the scene where they're fighting over the Infinity Gauntlet. First of all of the villains were there. Our heroes are outnumbered, and all of a sudden the guns turn to the sky. And why do they turn to the sky? We don't know, but something's coming that they're threatened by.
You knew it was Captain Marvel.
No.
Yeah.
No. See, to me, I was disappointed. That was a really good opportunity for writing, and it was ruined. And I'll tell you why.
Tell me why, Matt. Feed it to me.
Okay, I will tell you. So
get serious on me, Matt.
So think about this for a second.
Matt,
from a story standpoint, Captain Marvel says it herself. She says, your planet was not the only planet affected. And I said this before in our other podcast a long time ago, where I thought it would be so cool if the Ravengers, Nova Corps, all those other organizations out in space pulled their resources, and if they were brought in with Captain Marvel as the leader, that would have been amazing. If Captain Marvel flew through the clouds and then was followed by a shit ton of people pissed off from the known galaxies because they all lost loved ones and they all came after Thanos' armies, I think that would have been more of a statement than just Wakanda showing up. You know what I mean? Like, and a couple other heroes. I think it was truly a galaxy's problem.
It wasn't
and
just Wakanda,
it wasn't.
but yeah.
Well, there's a few people from Asgard that survived, but that was about it.
Asgard and also the all the Doctor Strange people.
Well, Doctor Strange people was like 3 people.
No, there was more than 3. Didn't you see all the shields and all that?
Yeah, but I don't think it was like their people. I think it was just him and just they're just doing it. I don't think there was 1,000 of those guys.
There's probably like 20 or 30 of them.
But anyways, the point I'm making is I think it would have been more meaningful, impactful if more people from outside the universe had been corralled by Captain Marvel. Well, maybe. Well, Disney did take a few hits. Solo! Should I believe him?
Star Wars, period.
Captain Marvel. So anyways...
they made money on all that shit.
They made money, but not what they needed to make up for it. So anyways, that's a good point. So anyways, she comes screeching out of the sky, in half a second destroys a ship, woohoo, and then she gets to the glove. Joel, I kid you not, the minute she grabbed that glove, because like the trailers, every trailer we saw, Captain America was holding the glove. Captain America was fighting against the glove.
Yeah.
And then I saw her doing it. And I kid you not, I don't know if it was the male chauvinist pig in me, but I actually just tuned that scene out for a second. I don't know how she got away. I don't know how she got blasted away. I don't know how. Really? Yeah, I'm not joking. I literally must have checked. I'm like,
yeah, as he was wrestling with her in the glove, he takes his hand, he takes the Power Stone off the glove, and he uses it in his other hand and hits her away. It was a really cool scene.
I'm not joking. I think I literally tuned out. I think I was so disgusted at the fact that
they were all going for the glove, Matt.
No. They were not. No, there's a difference, because if you think about how they set that glove up, even Hulk says it. I'm the only one that can put this glove on. Well, the only other person more powerful than Hulk would have been Captain Marvel, right?
On Thor, in theory.
Well, if right. So, but my point is, if it's not going to be Hulk, Thor's kind of useless. They already told him he can't do it. That just leaves Captain Marvel, technically, in your mind. So, in my head, I was thinking, I can't believe this. They're like, and again, it's not Brie Larson. It's not that it's even Captain Marvel. It's just the idea that I think the cinematic universe would have done better accepting Captain Marvel's character if they had introduced her maybe after like Ragnarok or even before Ragnarok, because I think that she came in, her movie was one of the last movies they made
months or weeks before this one.
Do you know what I mean? And so it's harder to accept. It's like the same problem that people had with The Last Jedi, where you have this pink-haired Admiral Holdo girl. We're supposed to care about her, but then she dies. So like, you know what I mean? It's like, we just met her and she dies, but we're supposed to weep for her like we would Han Solo or Princess Leia. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? And so I think the problem is, if she had been introduced sooner and even had like tiny cameos like they did some of the other characters throughout the whole cinematic universe, even like if Guardians of the Galaxy, like, you know how like they did little jokes at the end of the movies and stuff?
She could have appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy easily.
She could have shown up, like, even if she's just at a bar drinking a weird drink, you know?
She's there.
You know, something. She was there. I think that was their mistake with Captain Marvel. They introduced her so late, and that she's so powerful that we're saying to ourselves, you know, like, you wrote yourself into a corner. It's almost like they wrote themselves into a corner. It's like, well, how can we do this? Well, we just have to create some super powerful person and get them in last minute and they save the day.
Make the movie.
But you know what I mean. Like,
right.
It's a cop-out. It's a cop-out. The whole cinematic universe didn't have to have Captain Marvel. And they could have come up with a solution to this that would have been more inclusive to the original group.
So you were happy that she didn't get the glove, and then when Tony got the glove, or Stones that matter, made his own glove, and then he
Yeah.
snapped his fingers, you were more satisfied with that.
Absolutely. And it's not
Started
because
with Tony, it ends with Tony.
That's why. Because
Full circle.
Yes, Iron Man was the one that started it, and he needed to be the one to finish it. And don't forget too, in Iron Man 3 is where he got his first vision of his own death with the Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
I think he had that. He saw that vision of himself dead, or everybody dying.
Right.
So
he was alive, everyone was dead. This way around,
right.
He's dead, everyone's alive. Except Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Black Widow.
But again, see, if they had really wanted to include Captain Marvel like they did, instead of like an afterthought, which is what it feels more like, she could have even been seen in that, lying on the ground somewhere, and we wouldn't have known who she was.
They probably didn't know what they were going to do.
Right. So it's hard for me to swallow the Captain Marvel character because, one, she's so powerful, and two, so last minute. It's just, it cheapens it for me. It's hard to appreciate that character. As a civilian in that world, you're damn right I'd be grateful to see her flying through the clouds. But it's one of those things where she just kind of shows up. It's like even Transformers, the movie, where Optimus Prime and Megatron, they're supposed to have this major battle. Everyone wants to see that, but you don't even really get to see Optimus Prime. He always disappears, he always gets injured, and then he shows up in the last 5 minutes of the movie and says one cool line, and the movie ends. It's like, that's not why people go to the theaters. They want to see Optimus Prime kicking butt throughout the entire movie, and people wanted to see the Avengers kicking butt through the entire movie instead of having this last minute person come in. So I'm very, very, very grateful. Well, but again, based on how they wrote the cinematic universe and introducing her so late into the game, where I feel like it was kind of a rushed job, and it just doesn't work for me. In the beginning of the movie, it was very interesting too, because they hinted, she's like, well, I got to go to other worlds, I might not be back. And in my head, I was thinking,
she's not coming back.
Damn. That's when the Brie Larson controversy came into play, and they might not have wanted her to come back at all. Maybe because you were talking about there was different scenes and different endings, and the possibility of her getting written out. I was like, ooh, maybe that was her getting written out. But they're already trying to slate a Captain Marvel movie, so we know Brie's coming back. If not, I don't know. Have they had other people be? Captain Marvel's been reinvented so many times in the comics. Has it been other people, or is it the same person?
I don't know. But that brings on to another point. Since you've been blabbing so long about this, it's the Matt Curtis show over here.
All right, go.
So now that you brought up that there's other movies coming back, I was going to ask, where do you think we're going to go now in the universe? So the Avengers are broken up slightly again. They're going to still stand as the Avengers. So you think they're going to still make movies? Like they're going to make Spider-Man?
Yes.
Spider-Man's coming out in July. There's a Black Widow movie coming out, but it's probably a prequel. Yep. There's another Guardians of the Galaxy, which will have Thor in it. There is supposed to be another Captain Marvel movie. There's supposed to be a Doctor Strange movie, and then they start bringing in other people. What do you think they're going to?
And Dark Avengers.
Do you think they're going to make they're going to make these movies again, and then in 2-3 years we're going to have another Avenger movie?
Yes, but
that's their progress. They're going to make the movies and then make an Avenger movie to bring it all together, because you got to find a way to bring them all together.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a mistake. It's Dark Avengers, and they've got this time around. It's going to be all space and mystical crap. It's not going to be, because up until now it's been like the Christopher Nolan Batmans, where it's been more real world. So we've got a guy that's rich and he's a scientist and he can make war machine costumes. But now they have costumes.
Fantastic Four and X-Men. They're going to,
but they're not slated. They're not slated for anything.
Not yet.
Okay, so here's the problem with that. We've been watching these movies for 10 years, right? Okay, you're getting rid of your favorite characters of all time. This is where, I guarantee you, on a timeline perspective, this is where franchises die. At some point, a franchise dies, and you can always tell when it's going to be. in my personal opinion, this is the last great Marvel movie for a while. It's gonna die because they are making a huge mistake putting all their cards into these B-listed superheroes. B-listed superheroes are great filler movies when you're waiting for your favorite heroes, but when the B-list heroes are the heroes, nah. Especially now that they have Fox, they needed to put out
that's the
Spider-Man, X-Men,
The Avengers
Fantastic
were
Four.
B-list. Now we're talking C-list characters.
Well, no, I'm talking like, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man.
Yeah, they're C-list.
They're not popular characters, and they're gonna push another 10 years of those characters as being popular. It's not gonna work.
I think their best choice would be to start picking up X-Men and start building that world.
But they're not.
Bringing them in.
Yes, I agree with you, but they're not going to do that, and that's why it's going to fail. If they did do that, and then they kept pushing these other characters, it would work. It could go on another 10, 20 years.
We do Spider-Man, and all of a sudden there's a Jean Grey movie or a Cyclops movie or something.
Well,
Professor
or just
X would be a good movie.
Or X-Men just done right. You could do X-Men done right. You could do Fantastic Four done right, and Fantastic Four can mix in with Guardians of the Galaxy. But they're gonna go with all this mystical crap, and that's what's gonna be. But if we have Sam as the new Cap, we've already got Scarlet Witch. We've got
War Machine.
So Hawkeye's still there, but if he does his TV show, he's probably
not
out.
Gonna be there.
But we've already got a female king, so to speak, for Asgard, which, in the comics they did have a female Thor.
Probably will not see Asgard for a little bit.
But my point I'm making is, though, they're all pointing towards this mystical Dark Avengers stuff. And so I don't know if it's going to be as popular. In my opinion, they should stick to the mainstream characters. Definitely focus a little bit on Spider-Man, like I said, Fantastic Four.
And focus on Thor.
X-Men. And then you could still push a Guardians movie in between. You could still push a Strange movie in between. And they are doing Silver Surfer.
Movie.
Yeah. But they're just focusing on these characters. And I think, honestly, Joel, too, now that I think about it, it's all contractual based. I guarantee you it's contractual based. Because if you notice, Disney likes to do threes. I think they sign these actors on for 3 movies. And I'm not talking just Marvel. I'm talking like across the board. I'm talking Star Wars. I'm talking about animated. You'll find that The Rock, he does, I forget what it was called. He does the Endgame, or the football movie he did, but then he's in Mulan, not Mulan, but
Moana.
Whatever. Yeah, and then I think he did something else. And that's just how it operates. So, and now that Disney has its Disney Plus coming out, they have, just like Netflix, they're going to have to start pumping out content for the sake of pumping out content, because Disney has a lot of media. They through Disney Channel, their teeny bopper shows, their old animated classics. I'm talking the cartoons, not the movies.
Matt, you've been talking this whole time.
Joel, speak up. I'm just saying, it's a political thing. And what I'm saying is, I'm worried that they're going to run the cinematic universe into the ground. They're just keep making movies till it dies out.
We'll see what happens. I mean, Kevin Feige is very interested in having all the franchises. So they are going to start exploring more with the other characters. And there's actually, if you looked up, they had movies planned, but a lot of them have been put on hold because now they got Fox. So I don't know. I don't know if the Doctor Strange is going to come out. I don't know if the next Guardian movie will come out because people want to see Thor again, and the next Home Spider-Man is going to come out, of course. But beyond that, we don't. There's not much.
Well, it's interesting because Inhumans was made into a show, but now they're going to do a movie again. So how's that going to work?
Inhumans?
Yeah.
No, that's been put on hold again.
Well, I don't know. It's weird because I feel like they're going to push it out again.
Eventually they may try, but I mean...
But why? Because, in my opinion, it's they already did the show. So how's that going to work? You know what? I hate to say it. Let's do a 3-parter, because this obviously was like a Brie Larson type thing.
3-parter?
Let's go back
We're gonna keep going?
Talking Avengers. Yeah, I want to do one more. I think it's important. We should just talk about Avengers again.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we do a third? This has never been done before. Just like Endgame. It's never been done before.
You said I talk too much, so I want you to talk.
We're doing entertainment banter, a 3-parter today. So if you're stuck in that traffic and you want to listen to the same topic for the 3rd time,
Joel,
Here we go.
listen, other podcasts go for like hour and a half, 2 hours. We try to be fair and do 24 minutes. We don't want to torture people on a regular basis. So I think
all you
this is
did
fair.
was talk this time, Matt. You got me bored. So can
All
we
right,
get
well,
more
now
interactive
you're going to
next
have
movie?
to talk. You're
All
going to have
right,
to talk in this
all
next
right.
one. All right, so thank you for listening to Entertainment Banter. My name is Matt.
And this is Joel. Ending of part 2. To be continued. Matt will return in the next podcast. I'm done. Click it, stick it, and enjoy it.